It's gonna sound crazy to you, but I own 2,000 cameras. My dad was an engineer. He was passionate about anything that was technical. He spent most of his life trying to gather items that he found interesting. He collected every type of technical items, spanning from mechanical calculators to typewriters to anything that had gears and chrome into it. And he spent a lot of time on his camera collection. And when he passed away 4 years ago, I inherited his collection. What really felt strange when he died is that all of a sudden I owned all of this. All of this meaning it's cubic meters of stuff. There's of course cameras, but lighters. I mean every type of. I had to dig into these crates, and there were crate after crate, and every single time I opened one, there was another one behind with the most incredible items. You know, you want to keep everything he left you because you want to somehow cling on him, on his story. So this is why I decided to do something with it. And of all the collections he had, the one I was feeling the closest was the camera collection. But I think a vintage camera is something that is fascinating for the engineer was. It's an item that mixes up mechanical, chemical and optical technology. I mean, he collected cameras that spanned, I would say, from early 1900s to the late 80s, maybe 90s. It's all analog cameras. And all those cameras, if you look at them from a technology point of view, they tell a story of engineers that were trying to solve individual issues. And I think that's what really fascinated him. It was this story, this evolution. The items themselves are the bringers of this story. They carry this story with them. But slowly, the idea that grew up into my mind is how can I share this with the rest of the world, with people who are interested in this topic. And this is where the museum idea was born. I knew that 2,000 cameras is not something you can share or expose. It's way too much. The idea behind the whole project was to say, let's identify the 99, like about 199 cameras, that were the most interesting, the more significant to create a story that I could tell visitors or people that would be interested in the project. There's cameras that are extremely important and that are worth $20, whereas there's some very expensive cameras that didn't really actually bring anything to the table. When you decide to create a collection that actually tells a story, you want to choose significant ones. And the idea is that whenever I purchase or I find a camera that I'm missing, I took one off the collection and I replaced it with the new one. So at the end, they only stay 99 cameras. This is why it's the 99 Cameras Museum. Now, once I've started building this, I was looking for a location. And that's where I met Studio Harcourt. I don't know if you know Studio Harcourt, but Studio Harcourt is an institution in Paris. They've been a portrait studio for over 80 years now. They're specialized in taking pictures of celebrities. Anyone who's someone in the movie industry, in the music industry, and even just people that want to have a good portrait taken. They've been coming to Harcourt for 80 years. Because they have this incredible building here in Paris. And that's how it started. And they said, okay, why don't you take that space? And they gave me a couple of rooms. Last year, somewhere like October 2023, we opened the first camera museum in Paris. Analog photography is definitely coming back. What I'm seeing a lot is young people that actually go back to analog because it's fun, mainly. With a digital camera, people hunt perfection. Analog forces you to take a risk in the sense that once you take a picture, you only take it once. And with that dose of risk comes fun, comes the idea of it is fun to try something and let's see how it goes. That's what we're trying to do here at the museum is we're trying not to be a nostalgic or vintage experience, but rather a projection towards young and more active creativity. This year, we launched a different project, which is called the Analog Chronicles. The idea was to take some of our cameras and bring them back to life in the hands of photographers. The idea was to put them in a situation where they have some of the best cameras of the last century and see what would happen. You can really feel that they had fun doing it. They tried so many things. What is cool is that we expose the pictures and the camera each of the photographers used. Those cameras, I think they were happy to be in the hands of photographers as opposed to be on shelves in a museum. I'll be honest with you, I've thought a lot, obviously, about my dad when I've started this collection. The day we inaugurated the museum, it's true that it was very emotional for me because, as you can imagine, as a son, I've lost my dad a few years ago. We're really close, and all of a sudden, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this by myself. But I had the feeling to do it with him somehow because I was in his stuff, in his life, for the time it took me to sort all those cameras. I mean, digging into someone's collection, I think it's a very intimate relationship. I hope he'd be proud. I hope he'd love it. And I hope he'd say that the few cameras I've added to the collection actually make sense. Because now that the project is going, I kind of took up the idea of buying new collections that are missing in the curation, which is driving my wife crazy because all of a sudden, not only did I inherit 2,000 cameras, I'm buying new ones. But it takes a collector to know one. So I guess I inherited that from my dad also.